I slept with my son's girlfriend's dad after I met him, and he made me feel desired for the first time in so many years, so now I want to pursue him, but it seems wrong because our kids are dating. Posted by u/Kirby91. Okay, so I, 32F, got pregnant with my son when I was 16 and I have had intercourse twice since then and none of those times were particularly great. Additionally, I've never had a boyfriend or really been interested in any men I've come across since my son was born. My son recently started going out with this girl, also 16, and she's a really sweet girl and she wanted me to meet her father, so we arranged that. He's 38 and is also a single parent, and we hit it off really well. We exchanged numbers after we met and then I actually called him twice in the past week and we talked for more than 2 hours both times. So this weekend my son and his girlfriend are off on a school trip, and I called up her father and asked if he could help me with a project we had talked about. To make a long story short, we sat down and talked for a while, things started to escalate, he kissed me, then we moved to my bedroom and cracked. Holy shit. I had no idea I was even capable of feeling some of the physical ecstasy I felt while we had intercourse. He clearly knew what he was doing, and Jesus Christ, I can't put into words just how amazing that was. I feel I left reality and couldn't even keep track of how many times I orgasmed. Just that it was so damn good. Okay, but now that that's done. Afterwards we lied in my bed and cuddled for a while and he stayed the night in my bed while we slept next to each other. It was one of the loveliest things I've ever experienced. Then this morning I made him breakfast and told him I had never felt anything like that before, and he laughed and said he hadn't had that much fun during lovemaking in God knows how long. After this night, I would love to be in a relationship with this man. He's really kind and funny and I really love his company in addition to how he makes me feel. That being said, let's just remember that we met because our kids are dating. I don't want my son to feel betrayed or have to deal with any potential fallout situations, but Jesus Christ, I'm dying to ask this man out on a formal date. So yeah, sticky situation. Commenter 2, you have every right to pursue him, but please keep in mind that no matter if your son's relationship lasts, it will damage your relationship with him. Because either you are going to be dating his girlfriend's father or his ex-girlfriend's father, and neither of those scenarios ends with your son being happy and your future relationship with your son undamaged. Update 1. 11 months later. My son also had a girlfriend, and I met her and her father and hit it off really well with her dad. He was also a young parent and is around my age, and we talked a lot last year and the two of us ended up hooking up. I have a post about it last year. Anyway, we decided to move on and never speak of it, and then they broke up. Apparently, they left on good terms and share friend groups. Recently, he texted me asking how I've been. We went back and forth for a few days and there absolutely was chemistry. This past weekend, my son and his daughter had a school trip and he told me he had nothing to do that weekend and neither did I, so we arranged to get coffee Friday afternoon. We both knew damn well what would happen and everybody reading this can figure out what happened, so I'll cut to the chase. We went back to his house, went to his bedroom, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Made me feel sexy and desired for the first time ever, etc. It was absolutely wonderful, but the best part, after we finished up, we lied down in his bed together, and then we started talking. And we kept talking. Seriously, we stayed up the entire night just talking about our relationships with our kids, childhood traumas, outlooks on life, hopes and dreams, word pronunciations we hated, and just general conversations. I never at any point felt like I was trying to maintain the conversation, and it felt insanely natural. By the time we went to sleep, the sun was about to rise. The next morning, I woke up to him bringing my breakfast. I mentioned in passing the night before that I used to love getting Chinese food for breakfast and hadn't done it in a while, and he actually ordered Chinese food to give me for breakfast. It was the most thoughtful thing anyone's done for me in a while. Then we spent the entire day in his bedroom just talking once again. By the time Sunday came, we were both really sad it was time to get back to life, but that was in my top 3 greatest experiences of my whole life. I literally spent the entire weekend lying in his bed with my clothes in a ball in the middle of the room just talking to him the entire time, and the only time I ever got up was to use the bathroom. It was like the world didn't exist beyond that room and nothing else mattered. We both got dressed and he kissed me goodbye and I went back home. I told my uncle I was on a trip with my friend for the weekend, but he knows me better than anyone else in the world, so he very well could have known I was lying. Then this morning before work, I was eating breakfast with my uncle and got a text from him that said, "Good morning, beautiful. How'd you sleep?" My uncle actually said, "That's a big smile. Who texted you?" After I read it, and again I lied and said it was my friend. I feel like an awful person because I know this is a total betrayal to my son, And it would be insanely humiliating and mortifying for him to find out, and our relationship may never be the same again, but part of me doesn't care. I'm the happiest I've been in a very long time, and I've wanted this my whole life. I've always dreamed of being with someone who I could just talk to all night, and he is so goddamn handsome and funny and kind-hearted. This was one of the best weekends of my life, and I am praying both of our kids go away again soon so we can do that again. So yeah. I'm a mother knowing doing something destructive so my son for selfish reasons, but I am so happy. That is all. Update 2. 13 months later. I recently started dating this wonderful man, 37M, and we've been boyfriend/girlfriend for about 2 months. I don't want to get into my history too much, but I've never had a boyfriend before. When I was 15 I got pregnant, had my son, then got kicked out of my home, so my son and I started living with my uncle, whom I now call Dad. I've gone on dates here and there, but nothing has ever stuck like this. I've also never felt this way about another human being before. Tonight I was at his place and we had dinner, and then we went to his bedroom and had intercourse. Afterwards, like right after we both climaxed, I melted into his arms, then looked at him and said I love you. He just kinda looked back at me like he didn't really know what to say, and I internally started panicking, so I immediately told him he didn't have to say it back and try to backpedal a little bit by saying maybe I didn't know and maybe I was just riding the emotions. He told me I didn't have to backtrack, and he was really happy I felt that way. Before he could really articulate a response, I forcibly asked him if we could just forget it and move on. He said it was okay with him, and we just cuddled together for a while before I said it was getting late and should head home. When I got to my car, I drove down the road, pulled over, and then started crying. I felt so embarrassed and so stupid for saying that, and at that time no less. I also have some pretty serious abandonment issues, for obvious reasons given my past, so I'm really scared he's going to leave me. It's been a wonderful 2 months, and I feel like this part of me I didn't know was there before is complete. He has told me I make him feel his worth as a human being who deserves love, and I've felt very secure in this relationship up until this point. Please, if anyone has any help or guidance, I would greatly appreciate it. I just really wish I could go back in time and smack myself in the face before I said that. Commenter 1. We need to normalize being able to say I love you in a relationship in months 1 to 3. Y'all just screwed, you clearly have love forming. Good for you that you told him, folded hands emoji, he'll say it back soon. Editor's note, these comments show both sides of the comments basically. Commenter 2. Did you really mean it when you said you love him? I feel it takes time to really get to know someone, and 2 months seem very short to know someone deep enough and to know you love them. He seemed to have taken it well, and he tried to be reassuring. He even told you that you should not be ashamed. So at least be reassured about that. If you feel your feelings are sincere and you love him, just be honest and open. Where you both are at in a relationship should not just depend on him. If you feel you are already at a stage where you genuinely feel you love him, so be it. It's not a bad thing if he is not there yet. Give him time. What's important is that it seemed he was receptive of your feelings and seems like he likes you too, but probably at the stage of love yet. He did not draw away from you or make things awkward. He seemed to have a mature and positive response. Update 3. 2 days after previous post. I left shortly after and just shut myself out from him for most of the next day. This morning I got a text message from him that said he misses me and was really love to go out tonight, so I figured what the hell, and we went out. While we were out, there was a moment during dinner that I reached over and held his hand and told him I was sorry I ignored him, and told him about my abandonment issues and how self-destructive I can be when I'm scared people will leave me. I'm sure it'll come as absolutely no shock to anyone that he was lovely and patient with me. We went back to his place and were snuggling, and I was starting to fade away to sleep. Then he said love you, beautiful. Beautiful is his pet name for me. Corny, but he says it's very fitting, lol. I stopped and then looked over at him, and then he said you don't have to say it back. I said, but what if I want to say it back? And he told me to go ahead, and I said I love you too. I rolled over on him and gave him a nice long kiss, and then put my forehead on his before I started crying a little bit. I cannot tell you how badly I've wanted to say that to someone since I was 14, and it doesn't even feel real. Feels like some dream I had that was nice but didn't happen. Riding this emotional high, I can't sleep, so I'm writing this while he's sleeping next to me. I have to get up in 4 hours to have enough time to go back home and get ready for work, but I don't care. One bad day of crap sleep is forgettable. I'm gonna remember this night for the rest of my life. It's way too soon for this, but I'm already getting giddy about putting my name in front of his last name. So yeah. I'm in love, you guys.